Best regards, teacher and classmates. My name is Angie Benitez, and today we are going to present our theory analysis of an educational situation. First, let me introduce my team. Leidy Jeraldin, Bravo Solarte, Maryi Lorena, Mesa Ñañez, Jimmy Gabriel Quiroz Higidio, Francisco Javier Urbano Bolaños, and myself, Angie Nataly Benitez. Introduction. This presentation analyzes an educational situation observed in a virtual language class. Our objective is to identify learning problems and analyze it using relevant theories of foreign language acquisition. Through observation and theoretical analysis, we aim to understand how different factors influence students' participation and language development in the classroom. Identify the educational problem. During the observation, we notice that in an important problem, some students showed hesitation when participating in speaking activities. Possible factors include anxiety when speaking English, lack of confidence, and fear of making mistakes. These factors can reduce students' participation and negatively affect the development of their speaking skills. Now, my classmate will talk about the descriptions that help explain this problem.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabriel. Okay, so in this part, I'm going to describe the session that we observe. Okay, in this was the virtual English class where the teacher encouraged students participate, especially through speaking activities during the class. The teacher asks questions. They try to involve students so they could practice the the language. Uh, However, not all students participate in the same way. So they then were active, but others seem a bit high stat or prefer to stay quiet during the activities. Because of this, we were able to notice that emotional factors like confidence or anxiety uh, can really influence how a student participate to learn in the class. Classmate, please, next sleep. Thank you. Okay, so here I'm going to talk about the case theories in language learning. First, we have the affective filter hypothesis. Basically, this means that emotion like an anxiety or low confidence can make it harder for a student to participate. So it is really important for teachers to create a comfortable environment where students feel relaxed. Is important. Then we have Vygotsky social cultural theory, theory, which in this case is focused on the interaction student led better when they work with others, like in pairs or groups, and when the teacher guide them step by step. Finally, behaviorism is both practice. When students repeat activities and receive positive feedback, they can improve little by little. So, in this theoretical, here, he'll help us understand why some students participate more than other and how teacher can support them. In my opinion, this shows the learning and language is not just about grammar, but also about emotions and interaction as future teaching. We should create, this is important, create a safe space where students feel confident and are not afraid to speak. Okay, now my classmate Geraldine continue with his topic. Thank you.
Um, okay. In this part, I will explain the theoretical perspective related to the problem we analyzed. We identified that one of the main problems in English learning is students is anxiety and lack of confidence when speaking. Many students feel afraid of making mistakes, so they prefer to stay silent instead of the participating in class. From a theoretical perspective, the situation can be explained by Krashen's effective filter hypothesis. According to Krashen, emotional factors such as anxiety and low motivation or lack of the confidence can so create a mental barrier that prevents students from learning effectively. Okay, when the effective filter is high, students may understand the language, but they feel uncomfortable using the communication. Okay, another important perspective is the social cultural theory prospered by Vygotsky. This theory emphasizes that learning happiness through social interaction. When students interact with others, they have more opportunities to receive feedback and develop their communicate skills. Okay, if students feel anxious or insecure, they may avoid interaction, which limited their learning opportunities. My colleague Lorena will explain it on the next slide.
Hello everyone, my name is Lorena. Um, Possible teaching strategies. To address the situation, teacher can implement strategies such crafting a supportive and rewarding learning environment, encouraging collaborative activities, providing positive feedback to a student, promoting regular opportunities for speaking practice. These strategies can reduce anxiety and improve participation. Group reflection. Through this activity, we understood the importance of observing real teaching situations and analyzing them using theoretical perspectives. Working collaboratively allows users to reflect on how emotional and social factors influence student participation in language learning. As future teachers, we believe is essential to create supportive environments where students feel confident to communicate and develop their language skills. I go proposing an activity called Really Life English Challenge. It's basic about students making short video where they act out real life situation, like ordering food or talking to a friend. I think this helps a lot because students practice English in more real and fun way, not just grammar. For this activity, Hangout use apps like TikTok or Instagram to record the videos and Canva organize ideas. Also Google Classroom to share the work and give it feedback and maybe Quizlet to practice vocabulary before doing the activity. To evaluate the impact, we'll look at how students improve their speaking, like influencer and pronunciation. I will also compare how they speaking before and after the activity. And I think it's important to ask a student how they feel and they feel more confident using English.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Francisco. Um, First of all, I'm going to present the conclusion with the shape. Okay. Um, the analysis of this educational situation helped us understand how emotional factors influence students' participation in language learning. It is very important to address these emotional factors as this promotes the creation of a more inclusive and active environment in which students feel more confident and can improve their skills such as pronunciation, fluency, and oral interaction. Therefore, integrating emotional strategies is key to successful language learning. In the process of learning the English language, the role of the teacher is fundamental, as they are in charge of fostering a supportive environment that motivates and encourages the students to overcome anxiety, build confidence, and in turn facilitate the development of better learning. So, within the process of learning English, we find that emotional factors play crucial role. If these emotional processes are not addressed, they can negatively affect learning. However, when they are addressed, they build more confidence in the student and improve the development of skills such as speaking, listening, reading, and writing, enabling successful acquisitions on the language. On the other hand, it is essential to highlight the role of the teacher. The teacher is in charge of applying different strategies, methods, and dynamics which foster a healthy and positive environment where the student feels safe, is not afraid of making mistakes, and be practicing develops a successful language learning. Okay. Uh, Next, each of us will answer three questions. First questions. Um, what innovate English learning activity would you propose to address the problem? What do you think, Angie?
Uh, Based of this analyze it is important of design innovative activities that reduce anxiety and promote active, active participation. For this reason, we propose the use of digital tools and interactive strategies to create a more dynamic and engaging learning environment. I will propose an activity called I speaking practice through real life conversation. In this activity, students practice English by simulating real life situations using digital tools. They interact with I, learn vocabulary, and create short videos to improve their speaking skills. This helps students become more confident and use English in a practical and meaningful way. Gabriel, what do you think about this question?
Okay, I think I will use the role play activities. For example, students can work in small groups and practice simple conversation, like talking with a friend or buying something. I think um, this help because students feel more comfortable and less nervous when they practice with class instead of speaking alone. Classmates, Geraldine, what do you think?
Okay. I think to address the problem of a student feeling anxious when speaking English, I will propose an activity called speaking circles. In this activity, students work in the small groups and talk about simple everyday topics like daily routines, hobbies, or personal experience. The idea is to create a relaxed environment where students feel comfortable sharing their ideas without worrying too much about making mistakes. This helps the build confidence and practice speaking more naturally. I think, Lorena?
Okay. Um, mm, the innovate activity I propose is using educational games and dynamics activities that we can find on word walls, where there are concepts and students can answer simple question in English, thus improving their skills. Okay. Now, the next question. What digital tools or resource would you use for this activity? Angie, what do you think?
I will use different digital tools such as ChatGPT for conversation practice, Quizlet for learning vocabulary, and Canva or TikTok for creating short videos. I will also use platforms like Padlet or Google Classroom to share students' work and promote interaction. Uh, these tools make learning more interactive, motivating, and student-centered. Uh, Gabriel, what do you think?
Okay, thank you. In this question, for this activity, I will use some simple digital tools like Google Classroom to share these instructions and maybe let the students record short videos on their phones also. Um, I think using something like Kahoot could help to make the classroom more fun and interactive. Um, Geraldine, what do you think in this question?
Okay, I think for this activity, I will use digital tools like Padlet, where students can share ideas or share reflection. I will also use breakout room in Microsoft Teams or Zoom, so students can work in small groups and practice speaking more comfortable. Another useful tool is Kahoot, which can help make the class more interactive and engaging. What did you think, Lorena?
Okay. In this question, the tool I will use is Google Walls itself, which offers different activities for students to improve their English skill. Okay. Now the next question. How would you assess the impact of this activity on language learning? Angie, what do you think?
Uh, I will assess the students through their participation, speaking performance, and progress over time. For example, I will evaluate their pronunciation, fluency, and use of vocabulary on their videos. I will also consider peer feedback and student improvement. This way, I can measure how the activity helps develop their communication skills. What do you think, Gabriel?
Okay, in the final question, I think to evaluate this activity, I will observe how the student participate and if they feel more confident when speaking. I could also use the simple rubric, the check things like pronunciation and fluence also. I think it's important to ask students um, how they feel to see if their anxiety is improved. Thanks.
Okay. I think today access the impact of this activity. I will mainly observe students' participation and confidence when speaking. I will also give short feedback and ask a student to reflect on how comfortable they left during the activity. Okay, this way the teacher can see if students are improving their speaking skills and feeling more confident using English. What do you think, Lorena?
Okay. In this question, the way I would assess the impact on this activity is by observing how the student participates, listening, to their pronunciation and measuring their activity participation, their confidence, and the calmness with which they present and adjust. Okay, thank you so much. I hope everything has been very clear. Thank you.